Today we'll be updating our story of the complete Black Ops series. In this updated version, we will be covering the events in World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops Cold War, and Black Ops 2. Now this is to prepare ourselves for the story of Black Ops 6, which is set in the 90s. We will also cover the events of 2025 in Black Ops 2, but I would like to let you guys know that that story could be retconned by 2026 if the rumors of a Black Ops 2 remake are to be believed. We will not look into the story of Black Ops 3 because I believe that should have its own separate video and should never be attached to this long and complete story. And for the story of World at War, we will quickly recap the events from the Soviet campaign only during the years of 1942 and 1945. We will follow Viktor Reznov and Private Dmitry Petrenko as they are important characters in the larger Black Ops story. Thank you, and let's begin the story so far of Black Ops. In 1942, we find Petrenko in Stalingrad as German troops begin to execute his comrades. Here we also meet Sergeant Viktor Reznov, who is looking to escape and finish a mission that he is on. Reznov tells Petrenko about a plot to kill the German general Henrik Amsel, who is responsible for many war crimes across the Soviet Union. Both men make an escape and evade capture, and they eventually meet up with what remains of Dimitri's unit. They fill the unit in on the plan and they prepare an assault on the general's communications post. Eventually, Dmitry and Reznov kill General Amsel as he attempted to flee. With the general dead, both Reznov and Dmitry make an escape via the Volga River, and 3 years would go by before Reznov and Dmitry ever met again. It is now 1945. Reznov and his team would save Dmitry from capture by the German soldiers during the Battle of the Silo Heights. After this, Reznov and Dmitry would work together again in taking down the enemy. They would also fight through armies of German soldiers, and they would eventually board a train to Berlin. Once they arrived in Berlin, Reznov and Dmitry fight more Germans near the outskirts of the city, and they would continue to advance forward until reaching the Berlin U-Bahn station. However, they would be overrun by Germans, and Reznov would need to drag Dmitry out of the U-Bahn station to regroup with the Soviet infantry outside. After regrouping with the other Soviet soldiers, they would make a final push towards the Reichstag. And during this assault, many of their Soviet comrades would be killed. However, Reznov, Dmitry, and what remained of their unit would enter the Reichstag and defeat the Germans inside. And upon reaching the rooftop, Dmitry is wounded by a German soldier hiding on the roof. However, before being executed, Reznov brutally kills the German with a machete and helps Dmitry plant the Soviet flag, which signified the end of the war in Europe. Now that is a very quickly and very brief recap of the Soviet campaign during World at War. And we are only covering the events of the Soviet campaign and not the ones that occur on the American side of things, as I felt that it was more important to meet these Soviet heroes as they make appearances in future Black Ops titles, particularly Black Ops 1. With all that being said, we will now go into the story of Black Ops 1, which takes place many years after the end of World War II and begins in 1961. CIA operative Alex Mason suddenly awakens and he finds himself strapped to a chair with the thumping white noise of monitors all around him. He is almost blinded by the light when he notices two men in a room. They are speaking to him through a microphone, and they begin to bombard him with questions. At first, Alex refuses to answer them, but they continue to torture him, and they ask about these random numbers that appear on the screen, and they continue to ask him about a man named Dragovich. They began to ask Alex about a mission in 1961 that took place in Cuba alongside his comrades Bowman and Frank Woods. Here, Alex is taken back to that moment, and we relive what happened the exact day of the mission, which was April 17th, 1961. Mason, Woods, and Joseph Bowman are in Cuba to assassinate Fidel Castro and help CIA-sponsored Cuban exiles in overthrowing Fidel Castro's communist regime. Mason and Woods seem to find and kill Fidel Castro in his bedroom.
This is it. You ready to make history? Crazy bitch! He uses the human shield, and she still protects him? That person war is a fanatical devotion. Well, the target is down.
And they try to make an escape via an airport runway that was nearby. But the CIA's Cuban rebels are losing against Castro's armed forces, and they have set a blockade at the end of the runway, so there isn't enough time or enough room to take off. Here Alex decides to jump off the plane and clear the blockade with a turret. Woods is angry at this, but Mason did what he thought was right. And with this, Bowman and Woods leave Cuba, and Alex Mason stays behind. However, mere moments later, Mason is knocked out and captured. His captor is Fidel Castro, who reveals that they assassinated a body double. Castro gives Mason to Major General Nikita Dragovich as a gift, and Alex Mason would be held captive at the Vorkuta Gulag, a Russian labor camp, and he would be there for 2 long years. With this, we return to present day, and the interrogators begin to ask Mason questions about his capture and what happened while he was taken by Dragovich. Alex informs them that he lived through hell and he had almost given up on ever escaping that terrible place. But a year into his captivity, he met with Viktor Renzov, who was a former member of the Soviet Union Army. Alex refers to Viktor as a friend in the interrogation, and suddenly we are taken back to October 6, 1963. Here we find out that Viktor and Alex planned a prison uprising and fought their way out of Vorkuta. However, when they made it out to freedom, Alex hopped on a train and waited for Viktor, but he took off in a different direction. And as we go back to present day, Alex says that this was the last he saw of Viktor, at least for a while. And the interrogators begin to badger him some more and question his loyalty to the United States. They believe that he's been compromised due to his friendship with a known Soviet threat. However, we are taken back to November 10th, 1963. A month after the escape, Alex Mason was tested and cleared for duty once again. He was back on assignment. His handler, Jason Hudson, was escorting him to meet with President John F. Kennedy, and on the ride there, Mason meets with the Secretary of the United States, who informs him that they want Dragovich killed.
Nothing less than our national security is at stake. He has no fear, no conscience, no weakness. This is Nikita Dragovich. I believe you two have already met.
When do I kill him?
We're lucky to have you back, Mason.
When Mason enters the Pentagon, his head begins to hurt and he continues to hear a thumping sound. He describes it like a dream or being in 2 places at once. When Mason meets with the president, he blacks in and out, and he even has a vision of himself pointing a gun at JFK. He snaps out of it, and the president confirms and authorizes the assassination of General Dragovich. He wants Mason to do this as he's the best operative that they've got. Now, a week later, on November 17th, 1963, Alex Mason, alongside his comrades Frank Woods and Joseph Bowman, reunite for a mission, which is to infiltrate the USSR space program located in Baikonur. Intel suggested that General Dragovich would be there. Mason is looking to kill and eradicate Dragovich. They run into heavy resistance at the space program, but they push through and are able to stop 2 rockets from launching. Mason snaps out of the flashback, and we return to present day. The 2 unknown interrogators begin to ask Mason about Dragovich, and he explains that Woods believed that they had killed him, but they couldn't confirm the kill, and Alex Mason had a gut feeling that Dragovich was still alive. Here it's revealed that Mason would go on to spend the next 5 years searching for Dragovich. He says that he felt him everywhere. The people holding Mason captive shift the conversation back to the past.
Take us back again, Mason. After Baikonur, where did Washington send you next?
Vietnam. Fucking Quezon.
This was in 1968.
Yeah, I was part of the SOG unit led by Frank Woods. It was recon on covert Russian activity in Laos.
What about your CIA handler, Hudson? Was he in Quezon? Do you remember him there?
Hudson. Mr. Shades. The guy was an ice cube.
And on February 2nd, 1968, in Hue City, during the Tet Offensive, Mason established contact with a Russian defector who apparently had a dossier with information on Dragovich. Mason risked his life and put the lives of his comrades in danger by heading into the middle of that war zone to try and recover the dossier. When he reached his contact, he realized that it was Viktor Renzov, Mason's friend from years ago. Apparently, Dragovich is planning something big, an attack that could destroy the West and the United States. Reznov informs Mason that Dragovich must be stopped at all costs. With the dossier in their possession, Dragovich's allies and their information is revealed. One of them is Kravchenko, who is a Soviet colonel, Dr. Steiner, who is a Soviet scientist, and Dr. Clark, who is a chemical engineer. All these men were a part of Project Nova, which was a nuclear submarine. And now we return once more to the present day. Alex Mason gets angry and says that all these questions are pointless, as they already know everything that has happened. However, the captors reveal that they don't know what the numbers they keep showing him mean, or even where they are broadcasted from. Here we realize that this may be their ultimate goal. And we go back in time once more to February 9th, 1968, where Hudson and Weaver have been sent to Hong Kong to capture Dr. Daniel Clark. Here we see Hudson question Clark on his relationship with Dragovich. However, they are ambushed by Dragovich's men and they make a run for it. During the escape, Clark reveals the location of Dr. Steiner, which is in a facility located in Yamantau, where he is finishing up preparations for the Nova 6 project. Clark reveals that the project's success relies on numbers, and Hudson asks what kind of numbers, but Clark is shot in the head as he is about to reveal what they are used for.
What about the numbers, Clark? Oh, yeah. Он меня на мушке.
And now back once again in present day, amid further interrogation, Mason reveals the story behind the friendship of Dragovich, his right-hand man Lev Kravchenko, and German ally Dr. Friedrich Steiner. The story was told to him by Reznov, and the story takes place sometime after World War II. Here, Dragovich discovers the German biochemical weapon, Nova 6, and he decides to sacrifice his own soldiers so that he can witness the effects of the weapon, including Reznov's close friend, Dmitry Petrenko.
My father was a musician in Stalingrad. During the German occupation, the sound of his violin filled the air with magnificent music. Korsakov, Stasov, many of the great nationalist composers. To my countrymen, it was a symbol of hope. To the Germans, it was a symbol of defiance. Even now, his music still haunts me. The Nazis slit his throat while he slept. Collaborating with any Nazi is a betrayal against all of Mother Russia. Dragovich, Kravchenko were not troubled by such matters. They look only to advance their own interests and agendas. We had found what we were looking for. Nova 6. The German weapon of mass destruction now belonged to Mother Russia. Or so it seemed. Our victory was to be short-lived. Dragovich wanted to see the effects of the poison firsthand. It was also an opportunity to remove a thorn in his side. I had long known of their distrust, what kind of men they were. It was a betrayal I should have foreseen. Dmitry Petrenko was a hero. He deserved a hero's death. Instead of giving his life for the glory of the motherland, he died for nothing, like an animal. He should have died in Berlin. As I watched my closest friend die, it became clear we were not the only ones seeking the German weapons. We are running out of time, my friend. Can you trust your leaders to destroy it? Or do you think they will use it? The flag may be different, but the methods are the same. They will use you as they used me. You must decide. Decide what you think is worth fighting for. Dragovich, Kravchenko, Steiner. These men must die.
We head back to February 9th, 1968. Mason and his SOG team are in Vietnam trying to capture Kravchenko. Mason and his team fight through Viet Cong-controlled territory. However, they fail to capture and eliminate Kravchenko. And we quickly cut back to present day. Here, Mason is being hammered by his captors. They tell him that Reznov is not his friend and that he isn't who he thinks he is. Mason refused this and we head right back into 1968, this time on February 11th, 2 days after failing to kill Kravchenko. Mason and his team are sent to locate a downed Soviet plane containing the Nova 6 gas, but during this investigation, Woods and Bowman are captured by the Viet Cong and presumed dead. Mason is taken by Dragovich and Kravchenko, who were in Laos. We are back in present day, and the interrogator explains to Mason that his handler Hudson had to continue the search for the Nova gas without him. Once again, we go back in time to February 18th, 1968, where Agent Hudson was sent to Yamantau to infiltrate the center where Nova 6 was made. Upon entering the facility control room, they realized that it has been rigged with explosives by Dragovich. However, Hudson's team is contacted remotely by Dr. Steiner, who reveals Dragovich has set sleeper agents all over the United States for years, and in less than 36 hours, these agents will receive their final order to release Nova 6 all over America. Dr. Steiner reveals his location and promises to help them crack the numbers broadcast. All this because Dragovich is killing everyone connected to Project 6, and Dr. Steiner is seeking protection. We head back to present day. Mason reveals to the interrogators how his comrade Bowman was killed during their capture by the Viet Cong, and how he and Woods managed to escape. This took place on February 19th, 1968.
Bowman! Tired. Just want to end this.
You don't mean that, Bowman! Fuck you, Charlie!
Bowman, don't!
You dead American!
Последний шанс. Играй или умирай.
You don't scare me. Communist piece of shit.
Bowman! Bowman! You fucking son of a bitch!
Next.
I'm gonna kill you all!
Motherfuckers. I'm gonna make them pay.
You! No talk. Play!
What's the plan? I'm thinking.
No talk!
One chance, Mason. We'll take it. Okay.
Bang! You can't kill me! You shoot, GI, you shoot! Fuck!
This time, do it.
In line!
Ready.
Play. Bang!
6 and 8 o'clock.
Mason and Woods fought their way through the war zone that is Vietnam to reach Kravchenko's base. Once they arrived there, Mason met with Reznov once again, who led him through the base to Kravchenko. And when the trio confronted Kravchenko, a fight broke out, and Kravchenko focused on Mason. However, Woods sneaked up behind him and stabbed him. Kravchenko then pulled a pin off of a grenade that he had strapped to his chest, and Woods jumped out of the window with Kravchenko, seemingly sacrificing himself and saving Mason in the process. After this, Mason and Reznov recovered the documents that would lead them to Rebirth Island, where Dr. Steiner was located. However, we find ourselves back in present day, and the interrogator begins to badger Mason on his relationship with Reznov. Mason loses it, and he goes right back to February 1968, only a couple days after the death of Kravchenko. He tells the interrogators that when they reached the island, they snuck in the facility and Reznov murdered Dr. Steiner right in front of him.
Friedrich Steiner. This is the end.
I know you. Vorkuta. You don't know what we did to you.
Mason, talk to me.
Your evil has claimed the lives of many good men. No longer. Killing me will not stop Nova. I do not care about Nova. My name is Victor Reznov. And I will have my revenge!
However, the interrogator cuts him off and tells him that Reznov did not kill Steiner, that it was actually, in fact, Mason who did it, and that Agent Hudson saw it with his own eyes.
Damn, it's bulletproof! Mason, what are you doing? We need him alive! Stand down! Stand down!
My name is Victor Reznov, and I will have my
Revenge! Mason, no!
fine. Check Steiner.
He's dead.
What about Reznov, the defector? We need to find him.
We won't. He was never here. I didn't believe it till I saw it with my own eyes. What did they do to you in Vorkuta, Mason?
Steiner dead. Mason's our only link to the numbers broadcasts.
We need to bring him back.
Back in the present day for the last time, Hudson reveals himself and Weaver to be the interrogators and confronts Mason face to face.
We're out of time. We can't give up now. He was at Vorkuta. He knows how to translate the codes. He's heard the broadcasts which we know contain the location. It's all in his head somewhere. He does know where it is. We have to get to the bunker. We're at DEFCON 2. You've tried everything. Not yet. I have one more card to play.
Get out of here, Weaver. Tell them I failed.
You want to die with him? Your choice.
Damn it! Why can't you remember? Reznov's dead, Mason. Did you hear me? He's dead! Weaver's right. We're out of time. The Russians fucked you up. I know you. You're not a traitor.
Hudson reveals that while at Vorkuta, Mason was subjected to severe mental reconditioning in order to turn him into a sleeper agent who would perform Soviet missions in America, including the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. However, Reznov hijacked this programming while in prison and used it to have Mason complete Reznov's thirst for revenge to kill Dragovich, Kravchenko, and Steiner. It is revealed that Reznov never actually escaped Vorkuta and he died during the breakout attempt. And the Soviet defector that he met in Hue was dead by the time Mason reached him. Mason's visions of Reznov were a direct result of a dissociative disorder caused by the traumatic brainwashing program that he was a part of. Agent Hudson attempts to reach Alex once more.
There are gaps in your memory. Periods where you went MIA and we couldn't account for you. But now that the brainwashing's been broken, all that lost time will come back. We need to leave. The Nova 6 strike is imminent. Hundreds of sleeper agents, hidden in every state capital, are about to unleash this poison on your own countrymen. When Steiner died, we lost our key to unlocking the location of number broadcasts. You were programmed at Vorkuta to translate the number codes. Only you can tell us what the codes mean. Nova 6 was just one of the sleeper operations, but I'm sure there were others, ones we didn't even know about. We have the broadcasts. We play them to you over and over again for hours, but we haven't been able to break through your programming yet. Mason, this is our last shot. Listen, for God's sake, listen again.
2022.
Do with him what you wish, General. This is my gift to you, in honor of our new relationship.
Vorkuta! You don't know what we did to you.
The subject has been successfully implanted with the knowledge to translate the number sequences.
Construction of a new and permanent broadcast station within their borders. From now until Project Nova's initiation, all instructions will be broadcast from the result. Our plan to strike at the very heart of the West is now in motion. Await further instructions.
Do with him what you wish, General. This is my gift to you, in honor of our new relationship. In honor of our new relationship.
Permanent broadcast station within their borders. All instructions will be broadcast from the result.
I know where the number station is. It's a ship. I saw it a long time ago. The Rusalka.
Where?
Cuba.
With the revelation of the number station being located in Cuba, the team head out to infiltrate the ship Rusalka. Mason and Hudson infiltrate the underwater base protecting the ship, and Hudson caused the United States Navy to destroy Rusalka. Moments later, Hudson and Mason confront Dragovich, who shoots at Hudson, but Mason manages to get a hold of him and drowns him.
You gotta kill him! Trying to fuck with my mind! Fire! You
don't know anything!
Try to turn me against my own. Try to make me kill my own president.
Tried?
Come on, Mason!
With Dragovich finally killed, Mason escapes with Hudson, and they declare victory. Sometime later, Mason finds out that Frank Woods didn't die in the explosion during their fight with Kravchenko, and he is actually being kept a prisoner at the Hanoi Hilton.
Kravchenko, I sliced that bastard open. Saved everyone's ass. But he comes to first. Boom. Welcome to the Hanoi Hilton. 6 months later, they shipped me over to Da Nang. And this fucking place made the Hilton look good. Lost 17 of my group. By 72, it was just me. I was not gonna die in a fucking swamp!
It is now the 1980s, and Alex Mason, alongside Frank Woods, will be teaming up with CIA operative mystery man Russell Adler as President Ronald Reagan has assigned a Black Ops mission to take out a Soviet Union spy known by his alias Perseus. This Soviet spy has been a part of major catastrophes for the United States, including stealing information out of the Manhattan Project in 1943. Then in 1968, Perseus attempted to steal a nuclear bomb during the Vietnam War. Now, 16 years later, in 1981, Perseus is once again plotting an attack on the United States.
Perseus. The CIA's analysts consider him to be the single largest threat to the free world.
Mr. Hudson, we're all aware of Perseus. We're also aware he's more myth than fact. I mean, personally, I think he's nothing more than the Russian boogeyman.
General Haig, allow me to introduce the man best suited to respond to that. CIA clandestine special officer Russell Adler. He's one of the few people who even come close to capturing Perseus.
Mr. Adler, why should we take this Perseus threat seriously?
You don't have to, sir.
Yeah, then a lot of innocent people are gonna die.
Why do you say that?
Sir.
Every time Perseus has come into play, it shifted the balance of the Cold War. After 13 years of silence, if he's active, something big is gonna happen. Something that will affect the free world.
Sir.
Mr. President.
Sir.
Mr. President.
Mr. President, this is Jason Hudson and Russell Adler.
I know their names. Who do you think approved their last mission? Is the threat real?
Yes, sir, we believe it is.
Can you stop Perseus?
We can, sir. I've already submitted the requisition for my team.
Sir, their requests are highly irregular. Most likely illegal if the press gets a hold.
What the hell are you talking about? You know who we are?
Every mission we go on is illegal.
Sergeant Woods, plausible deniability is the backbone of our work.
Al, we're talking about preventing an attack on the free men and women of the world. Give Mr. Adler whatever he wants. Gentlemen, you've been given an important task. Protecting our very way of life from a great evil. There is no higher duty. There is no higher honor. And while few people will know of your struggles, rest assured, the entire free world will benefit. I know you won't fail us.
5 weeks after putting his team together, Russell Adler is in West Berlin following a lead on Perseus. Hudson, however, is wary of the task force that Adler chose and is keeping a close eye on Adler, Bell, and the rest of the team. He does not know if he trusts them fully, but for now he will support the task force in their hunt for the Soviet agent Perseus.
Do you trust him?
I'm not the one you should be asking, Black.
What about his team?
It's a strong group. He chased down Sims, Azalea, even pulled some strings to get Helen Park from MI6. We'll get them Mason and Woods soon.
I'm not so sure about Park.
She and Adler have that business from before. Of course he wants her there.
And the new one.
Bell? Well, don't get me started. That's the one we need to keep our eyes on.
Bell meets with Adler at a CIA safe house. They will be doing some sort of memory training exercise on Sergeant Bell. During this, Bell is taken mentally to 1968, where he recalls the events almost perfectly. Adler sends Sim and Bell to secure a valuable asset in a nearby firebase. During their search for this asset, they find 2 Soviet soldiers. Bell and Sims kill them and retrieve important intel off of them, this being the clue they overlooked years ago. After this, they rendezvous with Adler and head over to Ripcord Firebase. Upon getting there, Sim realizes that the asset they have picked up is a nuke. 4 hours later, Bell wakes up from the memory exercise and they begin to scavenge through the intel that they picked up. They uncover some important names that could lead them closer to Perseus. One of the names uncovered during the memory exercise was Anton Volkov, who is now a Russian arms dealer who supplies not only for Perseus, but many of the biggest organized crime bosses around the world.
Volkov heads the Russian mob that moved into East Berlin once the wall went up in '61.
This guy has connections to cartels throughout Europe and the Americas.
Neutralizing him will not only hurt Perseus, but the global syndicate. He's a big fish.
Neutralizing Volkov will have a big impact on organized crime as a whole. Hudson informs Adler and the team that his asset in East Berlin has a way of catching Anton. He is due to pick up a package from Franz Kraus, who is Volkov's chief courier, in a bar near Kraus' apartment.
Let's take him out apart. Careful.
Runter! Now! Nice work. Let's clean this up.
Adler and Bell make their way onto a roof near the meeting place to scope out any signs of Kraus. After a little while, they get eyes on the courier. Bell heads down and goes inside the bar and plants a listening device while he sits in with Hudson's asset. While they wait, Hudson's asset, named Greta, informs Bell that a spy of hers has been captured by Volkov's people. She would like Bell to either free him or eliminate him. If Bell gets a chance, he will take care of the spy. However, the conversation is interrupted when a man comes in the bar and informs Kraus that the meeting place has been changed because he was followed. Kraus leaves the apartment and Bell makes a quick escape through the bathroom. Bell heads over to meet Lazar and Park, who are inside of a small store in front of Kraus' apartment. They inform Bell that he will infiltrate the apartment and put a tracking device inside of Kraus' briefcase. Bell heads inside and takes care of Kraus' wife.
She'll be up for hours. Clean it up.
He finds a secret room in Kraus' office and puts a tracker inside of the briefcase and is about to head out when he hears muffled screaming through the closet. A while later, Bell wakes up and he is in a warehouse with Greta. They are both tied up and being questioned by Anton Volkov. Moments later, Volkov decides to kill Bell, but before doing so, Adler and the team come to the rescue.
I could probably make use of it, but you are damaged goods. Only a grave can cure a hunchback.
Что такое?
I'll help her secure the case. Get Volkov!
Volkov quickly makes a run for it and the team follows him. Bell catches up to him and takes him out. In the briefcase recovered from Volkov, we find out that Perseus used East Berlin to smuggle a nuclear device. The team believes Perseus has stored them in an unpopulated area in Ukraine. Adler has Woods and Mason go over to assist. Bell and Woods make their way to the base in Ukraine. They silently infiltrate it and make their way through the underground levels.
All right, I'm set. Clear, moving up. Looks like their command center. Come on.
They find a control room and a computer that seems to have very valuable information on it. There's a file on there titled Operation Greenlight. Bell and Woods listen to it and hear the voices of Hudson and the director of operations. Here they discover that the nuclear weapon smuggled out of Berlin by Perseus is American. Hudson says that they will take care of it and keep control of the asset, and they will also keep this information a secret from Adler's team. Woods is rightly pissed off.
We confirmed it. The nuke smuggled out of Berlin is a green light asset. It's one of ours.
If that gets out,
No one will know, not even Adler's team. The stakes are too high.
high is an understatement. We're talking about an American nuke hidden beneath Berlin.
They make their way out of the base and regroup. From there, they head over to meet with Hudson, as he has some explaining to do. Sometime later, we see Adler, Mason, and Woods headed to meet Hudson. As they arrive, an angry Woods gets out of the car and attacks Hudson. Adler asks everyone to calm down and questions Hudson on what they heard regarding Operation Greenlight.
You knew the nuke was from Greenlight. Didn't tell us. What else are you hiding? Maybe I can knock the truth out of you.
You might want to rethink that, Woods.
Everybody stand down. This little pissing match isn't gonna help us catch Perseus.
Why didn't you tell us it was an American nuke?
He needed us to clean up his mess. The bastard's been lying to us all along.
It's not a lie. It's an omission of fact.
That's what you do best, isn't it, Hudson? Manipulate people. Tell them your own version of the truth.
There is no truth. Only who you choose to believe. Adler knows all about that. Don't you, Russ?
Operation Greenlight. What is it? Tell us everything.
Back in '58, the arms race was in full swing. Eisenhower was convinced if the Reds moved on Europe, we couldn't respond quick enough. So he authorized Operation Greenlight, a top-secret program that placed nuclear bombs in every major European city. The ultimate countermeasure to a Soviet invasion. 74 of the bombs were upgraded to high-yield neutron bombs, capable of terminating personnel without damaging infrastructure.
Thousands dying in a flash. You're talking about fucking infrastructure.
How's that for civilized? We kill the people but preserve the buildings.
We're trying to preserve our way of life.
How long have you known about the missing nuke?
One of the Greenlight nukes went offline 8 weeks ago. We suspected it was Perseus, but couldn't confirm it. So we saw the photos you brought back from East Berlin.
So, there's an American-made nuke in the wild. And once Perseus detonates it, the United States becomes global enemy number one.
We wouldn't have this problem if you'd done your job. Killed Perseus in Vietnam.
Careful, Hudson. Next time, I might not stop Woods.
Now that the team know that Perseus is looking to detonate the nuke and make the United States the enemy, Adler understands they need to move fast. The team's search leads them to Yamantau, as MI6 has an insider named Belikov within the KGB that confirms there is an active operation going on there. Yamantau, years earlier, was a base for the Soviet Union where Major General Nikita Dragovich worked on a gas named Nova 6 that would brainwash US agents positioned in different parts of the United States. However, Alex Mason killed the general and prevented the Nova 6 gas from ever being deployed. Perseus is now on the hunt for something inside of Yamantau. Adler is sending Mason back to the Soviets' base alongside Woods to find whatever Perseus is looking for first. Mason and Woods arrive in Mount Yamantau, where they find a mainframe, which they steal and they deliver it to Hudson. He has his team analyze it, and 4 days later they find out that Perseus was looking for the names of the sleeper agents that were used in 1968. Hudson asks for those names, but Perseus has deleted them from the mainframe, and the only place that they can now be found is inside the KGB headquarters, in their bunker at the Lubyanka building. Hudson heads over to talk to Adler about the mission that's coming.
Are you taking him into the KGB with you? Are you crazy? Wait for Mason or Woods to return.
I don't need Mason or Woods. I need Bell. He's got the skill we need.
Are you enjoying this? You're risking the entire operation unnecessarily.
It's not unnecessary. It's calculated.
Just understand that if you botch this, we can't get those names. It's over.
I know you can do this. Hudson doesn't trust anyone he can't control. The Lubyanka building, KGB headquarters in Moscow. The sleeper agent records are stored in the archives 100 feet below ground in a nuclear defense command bunker.
Your only way in or out is through this high-security elevator.
We'll need proper credentials. That's where our asset Belikov comes into play. Belikov has been our source inside the KGB for nearly a decade. He'll get us in. He came through for us in Yamantau. He'll do it again.
This shit is crazy, even by his standards. You sure he's on board?
An immediate nuclear threat warrants every risk at this point. I'm sure he wouldn't disagree. Sims, get Belikov on the line.
Belikov receives a phone call from Adler where he tells him they need his help getting inside the KGB building. During the phone call, Belikov is summoned to meet with Secretary Gorbachev, having summoned him to a meeting. Belikov makes his way there to find some of his comrades and two men, one named Zakayev and one named Kravchenko, who are investigating a mole within the KGB. Belikov feels that they are onto him, so he plans to frame a general in the KGB named Charkov. Kravchenko informs Belikov that in a couple of hours they will know from which computer the mole operates. Belikov knows that his computer will be the one that will be discovered, so he quickly makes his way into the server room and redirects the evidence to General Charkov. He prints out the evidence, he takes it to Kravchenko and successfully frames Charkov. Belikov uses this opportunity to steal the general's keycard. He heads over to the boiler room and opens the door for Adler and Bell. They disguise themselves as KGB members and make their way to the bunker. As they make their way through security, they run into trouble, but Belikov helps them. After this, they head to the elevator to go to the bottom floor. Before the elevator door closes, Zakayev goes inside and is suspicious of Adler and Bell. That suspicion gets him knocked out.
No, Yelitsa. Когда вы прибыли?
Что вы делаете?
Elevator conversation always gets awkward.
Upon arriving on the bottom floor, Adler and Bell begin to take out any KGB soldier standing in their way on their path to the bunker.
Plant a gas canister in the back.
Got your back.
The whole building is on high alert. After a heavy assault, they make it to the bunker and copy the sleeper agents' names onto a disk drive. As they make their way out, they are blocked by KGB soldiers holding Belikov hostage. Somehow they find out he was the actual mole. Adler and Bell rescue him and they make an escape together. With the name of the sleeper agents in their possession, they discover that a nuclear engineer named Theodore Hastings was part of Operation Greenlight. The team will keep tabs on him as they believe he will lead them to Perseus, which rings true when Hastings decides to get on a plane and leave the United States for Cuba. The team are alerted to this and head there immediately, as they believe they will find Perseus there. Once they arrive at an abandoned compound, the team must make their way through and find where Hastings is. The team split. Bell, Park, and Lazar find CCTVs that show Perseus entering the room where Hastings is and shoots everyone inside. They head towards that room, but Perseus seems to be gone. A severely injured Hastings lets them know that Perseus has stolen the activation codes for the nukes, all of the nukes. The team must now make a quick exit. They fight their way through the compound and onto the roof where they will be picked up. However, they are receiving heavy fire and an RPG hits them before boarding the chopper. Bell has a harness already on him and he can save either Park or Lazar, and in a moment of high stress, he chooses Park.
7, 6, 5.
A little while later, we find Bell being dragged inside of the CIA safe house where he is strapped down and seemingly forced into another memory exercise by Bell, Park, and Sims. They believe Bell holds the key to finding out where Perseus has those nukes located. Here we begin an excruciating process where the truth of what's going on is finally revealed. Bell is not CIA. He did not serve with Adler in Vietnam, and he isn't even American. He was a high-ranking member and a trusted protege of Perseus. He was captured by Adler, Mason, and Woods during a mission at an airstrip a couple of months ago, where they retrieved valuable information on Perseus.
When the plane leaves trap zone, it's stopping in Duga. This you know. Here's what you don't know. Perseus won't be there. None of these hired guns are going to leave Duga alive. We'll dump their bodies in the forest. Then we will move the weapons to Volkov in Berlin. From there, we fly to Solovetsky.
But I have other plans for you. Perseus thinks too highly of you.
I don't want the competition.
Bell, you were one of Perseus's agents. His associate, Arash Kadivar, turned on you at the airstrip in Turkey. Left you for dead.
The CIA reinvented you, Bell. We needed to give you a new identity to replace the old. Sims and I both wanted you to be CIA. You didn't resist it as much as we thought you might. And we were able to utilize your language and cryptography skills as an added bonus. The bigger challenge was your memory.
The CIA's MK-Ultra program used Adler's missions in Vietnam as a template. We needed you to have that shared experience, that lifelong bond, to establish trust.
Interrogation didn't work with you, but thanks to MK-Ultra's research, we had a backup plan. If you believed you were someone else, we could lead you to a place where you'd give everything up. Enough to get us where we are today, but we're not finished yet. We have a job to do. Bell, we've got Come on, we've got a job to do.
You've got a job to do. You've got a job to do.
The trigger phrase kept you in line, but it didn't get us everything we needed. Your innermost secrets were always locked behind a door. Bell, I realize you probably hate us right now, what we've done to you. I just need you to fully understand the stakes here. What you do right now is not about me, it's not about you, it's about millions of other fucking people. It's about stopping someone who, in the end, has no true allegiance to anyone other than himself. So tell me, where is Perseus?
Once we control the Greenlight arsenal, we will detonate them all from the safety of Solovetsky.
During this memory exercise, Bell remembers almost everything. Here he has a choice: help Adler and the CIA stop the nukes from going off and killing half of Europe, while at the same time truly turning on Perseus by revealing where he is. Or he can lie and pledge his loyalty to Perseus. Bell decides to help Adler and the CIA willingly, revealing that Perseus is in Solovetsky. The team heads to Solovetsky and they have 12 minutes to stop the nukes from going off.
Danger close.
Bell, we gotta go, now!
After a heavy fight against Perseus' men, they are able to stop the bombs from going off, securing America's way of life and saving millions from dying in Europe. However, Perseus once again flees. After things quiet down, Adler takes a walk with Bell to enjoy the view and talk about the sacrifices that they've made.
Arctic air. Clears the head, doesn't it? Bell, you made 2 extraordinary sacrifices to stop Perseus. One was without your knowledge. The other, you made that decision of your own accord. I just want you to know that this little thing that's happened with you and me, it was always for the greater good. You're a goddamn hero, you know that, kid? Heroes have to make sacrifices. That's why when I ask you for one more, I hope you understand. It was never personal.
After killing Bell, Adler continues his search for Perseus. However, unbeknownst to Adler, Perseus would succumb to cancer in 1983, ending his life never being captured by the CIA, and maybe more importantly, avoiding the relentless Russell Adler. However, Perseus' work and his Nova 6 dream would continue, as a new leader would emerge following his death, named Vikhor Stitch Kuzmin, who had worked firsthand with the Nova 6 gas back in the 60s and worked under Lev Kravchenko. But in 1968, Kuzmin would be captured by Russell Adler and the CIA. Adler would question Kuzmin and would take out his eye in hopes of retrieving any information that they could out of him. But Kuzmin would survive the interrogation, and then he would be sent to a gulag, as he looked like a failure for being captured by the CIA. Sometime after Kuzmin was sent to the gulag, Perseus reached out to him and turned him into one of his agents. Perseus knew that the knowledge that Kuzmin held was invaluable, as he worked with Nova 6 firsthand. And in 1976, Perseus would free Kuzmin from the gulag, and they would work side by side until 1983, when he became the new leader of the Perseus organization. However, Kuzmin wanted revenge on Adler and led him into a trap on January 24th, 1984.
What the hell? He's manufacturing Nova 6 again.
Kill the rest. Adler is mine. in hell.
A few months later, on April 19th, 1984, Kuzmin and his Perseus organization transported Adler to Verdansk, while leading Frank Woods and other NATO operatives to pursue a false lead about Nova 6 production in Laos. While Frank Woods' rescue team was distracted by the false lead, Kuzmin would torture Russell Adler and send two of his operators, Helvig and Gray, to infiltrate a KGB black site in Mount Yamantau and steal data from the brainwashing project conducted by Nikita Dragovich on Alex Mason during the 1960s. After the information was extracted and the Perseus team left the base, they destroyed it with a nuclear bomb. In Verdansk, Kuzmin informed his team that his work with Adler was near completion, and that he would do what Dragovich only managed with a single subject to entire nations, paving way for Perseus' original goal of a greater Russia. Kuzmin would finish his work on Russell Adler by brainwashing him the same way that Dragovich did Mason years ago. And a few days later, on June 10, 1984, Adler was rescued by Frank Woods.
They rescued Adler faster than predicted. No matter, our work with him is done.
So, we move forward?
Not yet. Their satellites are interfering with our broadcast. The Verdansk test subjects are in place, but we are not getting through.
They still don't know what we're doing.
We have the advantage. We should press it.
Our man in South Africa is standing by.
Agreed. All the pieces are in play. Make the call.
"16 days later, on June 26, two satellites were crashed by a Perseus operative. One landed in Verdansk, while the other landed in Algeria. Adler, alongside Jabari Salah and other NATO operatives, would head to the crash site in Algeria to secure a data recorder from the satellite. Adler charged right into the fight on his own without his team, and he stole the satellite data recorder. He would begin to work off the grid on an unknown project in Verdansk. Later, we find Woods and Hudson meeting privately.
We've got a serious problem. Salah said that the satellite's data recorder was destroyed on re-entry.
So what? I've read the report.
Forensics disagree. Soot patterns were consistent with it surviving to impact.
Adler made damn sure he was first there.
Perseus were on site. Could they have taken it?
Negative. Bodies were clean.
After what happened at Echelon. We have to assume he's compromised.
Fuck.
Adler's been off-grid working on something in Verdansk. We have no idea what he's been doing. We'll have to pull him in. Go find Mason. He knows what has to be done.
On August 2nd, 1984, Mason captures Adler and brings him to the same interrogation room that Hudson and Weaver put him in after killing Steiner in 1968.
You can stop all this now. It's no use. We're running out of time. You've been off-grid since Algeria. What were you doing in Verdansk?
You always find me the best toys.
You can defuse it.
Stadium search team. We found more devices.
Kill it. Signal could set this off. Of course. Seismic charge. Primary rig to blow secondaries in the borehole. Sophisticated. Very nasty. This has CIA written all over it.
I know who did this.
Tough son of a bitch won't talk. Let's start the real work.
I did what you cowards wouldn't. Stitch's operation in Verdansk has to be destroyed. Get me out of this fucking chair.
First, we're gonna fix you. Trust me. This is gonna hurt. 16, 23, 9, 8, 14, 14, 22, 5, 18, 7, 11, 14.
Adler, we have unfinished business.
reports of multiple explosions in Verdansk. Sounds like our boy did a number on the place. Get him up. We need to go.
Oh, God. What have I done? Shake it off. It wasn't you. We're gonna finish what you started.
We've got a job to do.
Woods, Hudson, Mason, and Adler travel to Verdansk, and on August 19th, they find Kuzmin sitting near a solitary grave in the woods.
This one's all yours, brother.
Adler, you took your time.
It's over. Your sick experiment is done.
12, 19, 14.
Don't waste your breath. I'm clean.
I figured. It was worth a try. My work was finished before your little act of rebellion. This changes nothing.
Tell me where Perseus is.
You never understood. Perseus was never one man. It's an ideal. Bigger than any of us.
Oh, spare me your horse shit. Where the fuck is Perseus?
Right here. Cancer took him in '83.
No.
A great man with great vision. He was not the first Perseus, just as I will not be the last.
You're coming with me. There's blood on your hands.
Big words from the Scourge of Verdansk.
Fuck you. I wasn't in my right mind. You saw to that.
You Western.
This concludes the story of Call of Duty Black Ops from 1961 to 1984. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you found this useful as we wait for Black Ops Gulf War, which will continue the story of Adler, Woods, and Alex Mason later this year. If you like Call of Duty, I've retold the story of many great characters and the rebooted Modern Warfare series. Please remember to subscribe and like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in our next one. In 2025, a U.S. Special Operations team led by David Mason and Mike Harper arrive at the Vault, which is a top security retirement home for United States operatives, and it is the location of Frank Woods, who is now a 95-year-old man. The team is there because they suspect that Woods holds valuable information that can lead them to the capture of Raul Menendez. Raul Menendez is a terrorist that threats the United States. He is a Nicaraguan who has had a deadly vendetta against the West and has been working on their demise since the 1980s. Raul had some encounters with Alex Mason and Frank Woods over 30 years ago. Woods tells David Mason and Harper that Menendez has recently visited him and gave him a golden pendant. Woods begins to tell the two operatives about the events that occurred during his active duty years and their hunt for Menendez, who back in the 80s was the leader of the Menendez cartel and was supplying illegal arms to the Soviets.
All he said was, mi hermana. That's Spanish for sister, dipshit. You boys better get your shit together. He's gonna attack.
If you have information about a threat to national security, you gotta tell us.
Turn the camera on. Your old man. He's doing okay in Alaska. Fucking Hudson showed up.
Woods begins to tell David that his father Alex Mason was retired back in 1986. After his wife's death, he wanted to stay with his son and look after him. But Jason Hudson came to Mason after Woods and his team were captured in Cuando Cubango. They were there assisting the UNITA rebels. Mason would come out of retirement to save Frank Woods, and after Mason and Hudson recover Woods from Cuando Cubango, they locate a young Raul Menendez, who was among several Cuban military advisors. Mason catches Menendez, but is interrupted by Cuban soldiers.
Mullah Rahman, do not concern yourself with local politics. Prosta marionetka, как ты. Делай. Как сказано.
You're a dead man unless you do exactly as I say. Tune the radio.
You're going to kill me, see?
No one move or this fucker gets it!
El americano le está diciendo que no se mueva.
Shut up!
Él piensa que está en control, pero él no es.
I said shut up! Lower your weapon! I swear to God, I'll kill this bastard!
Los americanos no saben nada sobre la lealtad. Quizás nosotros deberíamos demostrar.
You son of a bitch!
As Raul attempts to escape, Mason shoots him in the face, wounding the Nicaraguan. However, Mason makes a run for it after a firefight breaks out, and he, alongside Woods and his team, are rescued by a helicopter, and they make their escape. Woods reveals that it was Menendez who took him captive after they were captured, and Menendez killed his team. With this information, the team began to hunt down Menendez, and after Woods recovers, they meet with Chinese operative Tien Chao and an Afghan rebel group known as the Mujahideen in Soviet-occupied Afghanistan. The CIA believe that Menendez is currently hiding out there. As we know, Lev Kravchenko survived the explosion alongside Frank Woods back in Black Ops 1, and he is also rumored to be in Afghanistan. The CIA, Chow, and the Mujahideen locate and capture Kravchenko, and Woods begins to question him on the location of Menendez.
Woods, maybe I should handle this interrogation.
If you stay the fuck out of my way, I can unfinish business with this bastard.
I left you to rot in Vietnam, Sergeant Woods. You should be dead.
Well, nobody told me. Buddy Rahman tells me you're doing business with a Nicaraguan named Raul Menendez. What do you do for him? Fuck you! You believe in an eye for an eye? Huh? This is the Mujahideen, baby. They'll bury you up to your neck, peel your eyelids back, and leave you to fry in the desert. I'll take you out quick. Tell me about Menendez.
I sell him weapons.
That doesn't sound too Soviet of you, brother.
The Soviet Union is dying. Money is all that matters.
Where do the weapons go?
Cuba, Angola, the Third World.
Why?
Menendez wants to see the world burn.
And that's not gonna happen.
And after Kravchenko reveals some terrifying truths about Menendez, Mason executes him, and suddenly the Mujahideen betray Woods, Mason, and Chow. The Afghan rebels take the trio and leave them to die in the desert. It is revealed that the Mujahideen were secretly working with Menendez. However, the trio is rescued by some civilians passing through. After this, Woods, Mason, and Hudson work with General Manuel Noriega of Panama to capture Menendez, who is hiding out in his plantation in Nicaragua. Noriega's men raid the compound and capture Menendez, but Noriega begins to kill his own men and takes Menendez to a hill before the CIA can get to him.
¡Despierta! He dicho despierta.
¿Lo sacaron sin que lo vieran?
Sí, nos tomó cuarto para restringirlo.
No witnesses. I saved your life. You
Call it a favor.
Menendez, however, is angry since his sister Josefina was still inside. Menendez beats Noriega and runs back to get his sister. However, he is stopped by Hudson, and Frank Woods throws a grenade that ends up in Josefina's room, which kills Menendez's sister, and they believe that it also killed Menendez.
Frank, you okay?
Get him out of here.
What happened, Hudson? Where's Menendez?
That's him, in the body bag. From this point on, today never happened.
However, Raul would survive this explosion and hide out in Panama with the help of Manuel Noriega. Menendez would come out of the shadows, however, in 1989 during the invasion of Panama, where Menendez is able to capture Jason Hudson and a young David Mason. He uses Hudson to relay false information to Woods in an attempt to trick Woods into killing Alex Mason. Woods shoots Mason, apparently killing him, and when it is revealed to Woods who he truly shot, he is angry but is ambushed by Raul Menendez, who shoots Woods in both of his legs, leaving him a cripple. Woods is dragged to a room where David and Hudson were being held. We also see the body of Alex Mason, and Menendez begins to explain why this happened.
Your best friend, Alex Mason, is dead. By your own hand. Do you understand why?
He was gonna kill David.
Because you must suffer, as I have suffered. Now one more must die. You, Woods, or David. Make a decision now, or in 10 seconds you're all dead.
Woods, I can't. I have 2 kids. They... Fuck! Okay, me! Do it! Do it!
Your life will be consumed by absolute loss. Then and only then will you understand what you have done to me. I would not kill you, boy. Not like Woods. You will suffer with me. And then one day, you will see this pendant again. And you will remember everything you saw and felt tonight. You will remember all the years of anger and pain. And when you do, David, please, come to me.
Raul Menendez reverts back to the shadows, and 30 years later, he re-emerges as the leader of the Cortes Die, which is a populist movement with more than 2 billion followers, and he stages a cyber attack that cripples the Chinese stock exchange, which causes them to ban the export of rare earth elements, and this sets the stage for a new Cold War, this time between the Chinese and the United States. With tensions high, Menendez takes advantage of the situation and attempts to cause a full-blown war by inciting conflicts between the 2 superpowers. Menendez is secretly aiding the Chinese military chairman, who is actually Tian Chao, who worked with Mason and Woods back in 1986. Tian has since become obsessed with power and strengthening his military. However, after meeting with Frank Woods, David Mason, who is now a Navy SEAL commander, leads JSOC forces in a new hunt for Raul Menendez. The team is led to Myanmar after catching a sudden spike in activity in the region. There, David's team finds a computer engineer working for Menendez. The engineer warns them of a cyber attack that is coming.
Quantum entanglement. This single device has more processing power than your entire military infrastructure. Rumors around the lab were that Menendez plans to use it as a basis for a massive cyber attack. I heard talk of something called Karma. It may be the name for the cyber weapon. If Menendez uses a Solarium worm to initiate an attack, there will be nothing anyone can do to stop it. I could me stop it.
David and his team are later deployed to Pakistan, where they look to gather more information about Menendez's current plans. Intelligence on Menendez's plans reveal the name of a target, Karma, who is located in the Cayman Islands. David, alongside Harper and Salazar, head to the Cayman Islands and locate Karma, who is a young woman named Chloe Lynch, and a former employee of Menendez Shell Corporation. Lynch was behind the development of the Celerium device, which the engineer in Pakistan warned the SEALs about. Menendez wanted to clean up loose ends, and he deployed a team to abduct Chloe, which was led by DeFalco, his second in command. David and his team end up losing Chloe to DeFalco, and they make an escape. However, intel reveals a location for Menendez, who appears to be in Yemen. JSOC has an asset named Farid inside of Menendez's Cordis Die.
We have to move on Yemen right away. No, you have to go in there, capture Menendez for interrogation. You contact Farid and the Yemeni militia. We need their help.
Admiral, it's a trap. Menendez has been playing us the whole time. If we move on Yemen, that's exactly what he wants us to do.
Get your team together. You got 2 hours.
And with the help of Farid, Menendez is ambushed in Yemen, but is able to capture Harper, and orders Farid to kill the SEAL.
You knew that I would be here. Who betrayed me?
You're wasting your time, you fucking bastard, you! You won't get shit from me! Come on, is that all you got? Huh?
Farid! Kill it.
Yeah, that's it! Kill me, egghead!
Anything wrong?
And you spineless piece of shit! Getting others to do your dirty work! What kind of man are you? Huh?
Show your loyalty by following my orders, Farid.
Do it! Egghead! Do your job! Now, Farid! Do it, man! Come on! You don't got the stones to fucking shoot me!
You betrayed us, Farid. And for what?
To those you serve, your life means nothing! Menendez! The son of a bitch is headed for the Citadel!
Arrange medevac extraction to get Harper back to the Obama.
With Farid dead and Harper rescued, David finally captures Menendez.
Secure him!
Thank you, David. Help me seek a newer world.
I have 1,000 drones and standby alert ready to launch in my command. If Russia or SDC gets any bright ideas, make no mistake, Secretary Petraeus. Your armed forces are ready.
The last order to DEFCON 3 was given by Secretary Rumsfeld almost 25 years ago.
I know. I flew a patrol myself that day.
Sir. Secretary. President Bosworth sends her regards.
For those souls who have toiled and wrought and thought with me, some work of noble note may yet be done.
Get this cocksucker off my flight deck.
Gladly, sir.
And Menendez is taken to an interrogation room where Salazar attempts to interrogate him. However, Menendez will only speak to David Mason.
I'm not a kid this time. But you can go ahead and try what you did back then.
Opulence is sinful and we all pay for it.
Such a self-indulgent piece of shit. Stop talking in riddles!
It was taken from me. Do you know what that feels like yet? An American torched the warehouse. For insurance money, $11,000. That was the value they placed on her life. She was the reason for me to live. What about you, David? What drives you? Is it me? Einstein once said that the economic anarchy of capitalism is the real source of evil. Your father and his people took Josefina from me. Pues, tu papá está muerto. Your father's dead. And his people finished.
Yeah, go ahead, Admiral Briggs.
We have a situation. We're tracking a passenger jet entering the Obama's airspace. Wait, what is that? Are those birds?
I meet Endo, Paniculas, unto a savage race.
We're under attack. We're under attack!
There are hundreds of them. We've just lost camera feed to the interrogation room. Secure Menendez. Meet me on the bridge.
If he so much as moves an inch, you put a bullet in his brain. You got me? The Obama's under attack! Ensure no one leaves this room!
You know I will not kill you, David. But if you do not drop your gun, I will kill your friend. You've got 5 seconds to decide.
How did you even...
Put them on. Turn around.
Mason is knocked out, and when he comes to, Salazar informs him that Menendez has escaped. Both of them make their way to find Menendez, but are unsuccessful, and later David sees Menendez heading towards Admiral Briggs via CCTVs. However, he cannot inform the Admiral, and Menendez takes him hostage.
Admiral Briggs. Back off!
Salazar, shoot through me! Kill this son of a bitch! No! You rotten cocksucker!
I'll surrender when it's done.
Rather see you die than surrender, boy.
I don't blame you.
Why don't you have Salazar do it?
Briggs is a good man, Menendez. Don't kill him. Shoot him in the leg. You said no unnecessary killing.
I decide what is necessary.
With Salazar betraying his team and the death of Admiral Briggs, Menendez hacks into the United States military computer and seizes control of the entire United States drone fleet. After this, Menendez escapes with Salazar's aid, and Salazar is captured. However, Harper shoots him.
You betrayed us all, Salazar!
Today is a difficult day, Section. But tomorrow, we all win.
Not you.
Sometime later, we find the President of the United States meeting with China.
Raul Menendez launched the drone attacks against your cities. The United States has nothing to gain by invading China. We're all pawns of Raul Menendez.
Thousands of American drones are heading for our capital cities. Show weapons, Madam President.
Madam President,
The SEAL commander who captured Menendez requested to head up your security detail. He's our best authority on Menendez. And he still believes you may be a target.
Sir, we have activity on the ground. Multiple hostiles.
My God. Drones. They're changing course.
Los Angeles. I knew it was too easy to crack that Solarium drive.
He's targeting the president. Marine 1 is under attack! Go to ground! Alert the MRAP for immediate pickup! We're going down!
Madam President, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah.
Evac the president to prom night.
David successfully takes the United States president to safety and then identifies where the attack came from.
Madam President, we now know how Menendez pulled it off. It's now clear that Menendez intended to be captured and brought to the Obama in order to execute his attack.
Trojan horse. Odysseus.
He used a Solarium device to infect our internal servers with a virus, compromising our entire military satellite infrastructure. Bad news is, the drones are still his. He's piggybacking on communications satellites all over the world.
What are our options?
Well, there is some good news. We've traced the source of the signals.
Haiti.
JSOC's in the sky right now. In T-minus 10 minutes, we'll be boots on the ground.
How long before the drones get to the other cities?
At the current rate and trajectory, approximately T-minus 10.
Oh my God, what about China?
Well, all diplomatic contact has ceased. But as you can see, Beijing, Shanghai, and Hong Kong, they're in as much danger as we are.
Is this it? Is this the end?
Madam President, may God help us.
With a location for Menendez confirmed, David leads JSOC forces into recapturing the facility, and when he reaches Menendez again, he has a choice on his hands.
Martyr me for Cordestie. I got you, brother.
You had me worried, man. For a while there, I thought you were gonna let that bastard live.
Over here!
Later, section.
This video is triggered to play upon my assassination. Cordestier, you know how to proceed. My death will shine light upon ubiquitous darkness.
Thank you for joining me in this updated story of the Call of Duty Black Ops series so far. We are now prepared to continue the story and the fight in Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and see what kind of new lore it brings into the franchise. Once again, thank you, and I hope you guys enjoyed.